Other Realm Studio. I am back yet again. I survived my trip to the dentist. Um, I successfully avoided doing algebra. Uh, my son successfully did do algebra. And it was a relatively peaceful homework session, so I'm very proud of both him and my husband. Okay, so I have some work. I have my work cut out for me. I wanted to make a little bit more progress on this one, and I also wanted to um, I wanted to fix a little bit of this one because um, my main figures get lost a little bit easily. And also, my dad really wants a business card. And this was his idea, and I think what I'm going to do here is I think what I'm going to do here is neaten it up and simplify it a lot. Like a whole lot. I mean, it is eye-catching, but um, following his directions a little too literally. Okay, so let's see. One of the first things that I can do here is I can add a new layer. Go back in the line art. Actually, what I can do is I can add a new vector layer. We'll do that. And one of the first and simpler things to do that's kind of a standard in comic art is to outline the figures a little bit more. Whoops. So with a lot of comic art, you do see a stronger contour line. And that helps the characters stand out more from the background. And another thing that I'm going to do is go very small and very light with the pen. And just darken up all the trees in the background and possibly lighten up a few here. But if she's the lightest thing in the picture, then she will stand out more. I mean, especially with a bit stronger of a contour line. So one of the things that's been on my mind a lot today is getting a really good launch for Soulbound 2. I mean, I would really love to be able to continue the series right away. I would love to be able to, tell Mia that, as soon as she's done with issue 2, that we can get started on issue 3. That would be amazing. I would love that. But first, I need to cover the lettering and the printing. And of course, the shipping and the shipping materials as well. So I don't have a lot of boxes left of the Gemini mailers. Just a few of those, and I think I'm out of the. Found some really good kind of hardboard envelopes that they really don't flex. I mean, I know they all claim to not flex, but I did find some good ones. So I was able to save some money on shipping that way because the envelopes cost less to ship. So I think my original thought was that the woods would get mistier in the distance, but maybe if they get darker and more shadowed instead, that'll work better. And we'll really be able to pick up the contrast a good bit. So I've been looking online. Like, it's not like I've ever really stopped trying to analyze uh, what makes a good campaign for a comic, and what makes one comic successful and another one maybe not so successful. And I'm always interested in hearing like success stories and whatever people credit their successes to, and also uh, what people wish that they would have done, that maybe they want to incorporate into the next one. And I had hoped to attract a little extra attention to my first Kickstarter for issue 1 by making a really low goal, and by uh, just putting it up for a short time and calling it a quick starter. But I don't know. Maybe it didn't qualify. Maybe the people in charge of picking out which ones get like advertised as a quick starter. Um, Maybe they didn't like my project. I mean, the way I heard it was that you're supposed to just be able to put that in the title and follow some guidelines, and they'll put it on a special page and it'll get you a little bit more exposure that way. But, you know, sometimes things don't work out like that. Still, even though I didn't get uh, any benefit from making it a short campaign and structuring it um, like the quick starters, or from it being my first ever campaign, or any of that stuff really. I still funded. I still made about twice what I asked for, which, um, yeah, I immediately spent it all. I wanted to get better packing materials, and I also I was also really excited about it because I was able to get some extra pages drawn um, and include a piece of the prologue. You know, I had originally, when I started contracting Mia, I kind of had her audition by drawing me 5 pages from my story so that I could look at her sequential art and see how well we worked together. And I highly recommend that to anybody because it's very difficult sometimes to find a good artist who not only is excellent at sequential art and expressions or whatever else in particular you happen to be looking for. What really makes you a unicorn is if you communicate. So Mia communicates, so she's some sort of mythical creature. And I'm very lucky to have her. But yeah, she did such a beautiful job on those first pages. And then the story picks up again. Yeah, those were the first pages that were about Becca's mom, and then the story picks up again with Becca. Hey David, how you doing? Oh yeah, I agree. She did an amazing job. Everything is so expressive um, and yeah, you can just feel the life in it. It's really amazing. All her work's like that. And it's really important to find, you know, when you're doing comics, it's good to find an artist who's not just a good artist, but is also good at sequential art, and they understand how to lead your eye around the page and stuff so that it all makes sense. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, well, that's probably because Mia is so good at communicating. Like, anytime she had questions, she'd send me an email and ask for clarification, and um, yeah, I was really blown away. I was so excited um, when I finally had the money saved up to, um, oops, okay, there it goes. I was so excited when I finally saved up enough to have her do an entire issue. Well, honestly, it was bit by bit still. I contracted her for like 10 pages at a time. And then, mid campaign, um, I thought that the story could really benefit from having those first 5 pages included. And there was a problem that was really the fault of my writing. I mean, I did not think that some of the scenes flowed well, so um, I had her draw an extra 3 pages, and she got them done before the end of the campaign. And Wes got them lettered in time. Fortunately, only a couple needed lettering, or only, I don't remember now. Was it one or two that needed lettering? Okay, so the first page needed lettering. Page 3, that was the other new one added. 5, and page 6, which did not need any lettering. That was another silent page. Okay, let me back up and take a look at this. Alright, this may be the way to go with it. I might also wash out the color, or well, fade the jeans a little bit. Let's see, there's there's just so many parts to the process of creating a comic, and communication is, you cannot overstate how important it is. Okay, this should be in hair and clothes. Yeah, I've tried really hard. Um, I've I've got all kind of rules set up around it too. Um, so I don't use any of my household's budget for comics. I mean, I have my spending money that comes out of the paycheck, and I kind of tend to use a lot of that. But, you know, not the grocery money, not anything like that. And also, it's very important to pay the artist and pay the letterer. Make sure everybody, it's just so important to make sure that everybody involved is paid, because it's it's not their book and it's not their responsibility to take the risk of whether or not it sells. I just cannot get behind, paying somebody on the back end for that. Let's see, I think this could use Yeah, a little more thought to the angle here. Yeah, and I also don't want to contract for more than I can pay. So that's why um, hang on, thinking about the shape of the shoe here. So that's why I make sure that I have enough to pay everyone set aside. Like, I physically have it in the bank for the amount that I'm contracting for. So I have enough. I could not believe it. To I was uh, going through my accounts, you know, with let's see, I had done I had done the Soda City Comic Con in August, and it was a pretty good show, and I was really excited about that. And also, I'd picked up a few gigs. Some. Now, what am I even doing here? So I picked up uh, a few art commissions, you know, here and there, and you know, I just socked it away as usual. And okay, here we go. And then I checked my account to see, you know, if I could afford to hire Mia for a new section. And I looked and I'm like, I could almost hire her to do the whole thing. So I was really excited about that. So I contracted her for, uh, hmm, yeah, I don't think so. Not unless they paid me. I suppose we could do product placement if I was getting paid for it. They don't look much like Nikes to me, though. I lost my thought. So yeah, now I know what I was thinking. So I've got her contracted for the cover and 10 pages. So 10 pages are very exciting. And yeah, she also gives me a little bit of a bulk discount for for that many pages. But after she gets done with this 10, there's 16 more. So I'm hoping to pick up a few more gigs. And also, I hope that this new little Comic Con that, it's the first year for this Comic Con, and the owner of the shop who's putting it on, he asked me if I wanted to come to his show, and he said that one of his artists had to cancel, so he was going to give me the table. So that's really awesome. That helps so much. All I have to do now is show up and do a fantastic job. like you do. And then something else that was really cool. All this stuff started happening at once. So not only did the comic shop owner, actually think of me and have me in mind to fill in this table that was going to be empty otherwise, but right after I finalized doing that, I got another email from one of the librarians. Now, the librarians were really awesome because they put on this tiny little Comic Con in the main library. And I loved it. I loved that Comic Con. It was tiny and not exactly lucrative. It was just, like one half day con. But oh, they were so organized and so nice, and everybody was just excited to be there. I mean, fantastic atmosphere. And they put chocolate on the tables. They put like little treat bags of like little Hershey candies, and not like not like a bag of like Dum Dums or something, but actual chocolate on the tables for the vendors. Not like the guests, but the the regular vendors like me, just there selling stuff. Like, these ladies are the nicest con organizers in the history of Comic Con organizers. And then last year they said, well, that was a wonderful experiment. We really loved doing it. We're not doing it anymore. They went and broke my heart. Um, so I was sad about that all year. And then I get an email from them the other day after I'd already finalized all this stuff about uh, making it to this new Comic Con that's starting up, just about half an hour down the road. And they said, well, first of all, congratulations on publishing my first comic in my series. And since I'm a published author now, which, try not to laugh, that they would like to invite me to apply to their author and small press fair. And I would be able to set up my table and sell anything related to my books, and including books, and essentially just like the Comic Con. So, man, I can't believe it. It's so sweet that these ladies remembered me and they thought of me. I mean, I do try to be the absolute best vendor ever. Like, the level of excellence that they brought to their Comic Con, I aspire to be that as a vendor. This stuff like showing up on time and not setting up in the way of anything, and sticking to the family friendly thing. That's really important around here. See, I'm getting closer with this shoe. I just know it. And I also don't break down my setup until actually time to go. It just looks so tacky when there's a con and there's people who they gave up or they got better places to be or something, and it's tacky and disrespectful to the organizers to break down your setup before it's officially time. So yeah, I don't like that. I mean, I know Comic Cons are not lucrative for most creators. I wouldn't really call them lucrative for me either, honestly. But there's a degree of professionalism that you need to have. And people will remember, that you take vending at their cons seriously, and that you have standards and principles and ethics and things that will not let you take shortcuts. So growing up, I spent a lot of time on the road with my family because we would travel to car shows and set up there and sell. And you know, doing Comic Cons is really more of the same, except not as many cars. You still do get some cars. There's like there's a few people around here who have like the Mystery Machine and the Batmobile and Ecto One. That's always fun. All right, let's back up and see how that looks. It's better. I still think that the shoes look a little bit stiff, but I might come back to those and render them a little bit better. Yeah, kind of does, especially right there. Yeah, I think I might want to break up the background a little bit more on the top side too. Yeah, it needed a little more contrast to pop. Yeah, I'm really glad that I took the time when I had this concept. This is actually a really old concept. This is before I even started this comic. I had something very close to this idea. And, at the time, I wasn't good enough. I couldn't draw it. And, it kind of aggravated me, but I kept it in mind. And, here we are, uh, several years later. Like I'm wanting to say 10. And, this concept that I had kept in mind, I have improved my art. And uh, my materials, honestly. Like my original sketch of this was number 2 pencil on notebook paper. I may still have it somewhere. But yeah, so this was a really old concept. But when I started drawing it this time, I actually planned it out with the layers because I'd done enough painting by now that I knew that with a lot of different colors, I can't just paint it all on one layer because it'll blend and it'll blend into things that I don't want blended. For example, I'm not ever going to want the clothes to blend into the skin. So I have the background on a layer. Yeah, I put these stars on a separate layer so I don't accidentally blur them into something. Have the skin on a layer. And have the hair and clothes on a layer. And as long as I just keep it all straight and don't start jumping around to painting the skin while I'm still working on the clothes layer, then it keeps it organized and I'm able to make changes without destroying a lot. So I think that this is going to end up being a better piece than the first piece of concept art that I did that's on the inside cover of the book. I mean, the angles are more interesting. and also it kind of fills in a little bit of the story. So I just want to keep improving and telling the story in a better way every chance I get. Let's see, I think I have her calf moved up a little bit oddly here. Let's shade that down there. So for me, it's not just that it's a story. There's a lot of my philosophy, I guess, about the nature of humans, the the nature of who we are in it. Like, kind of oddly scary questions like what is a soul and can your humanity be taken from you? And how do you heal from an invisible injury? An injury to the psyche? And, I don't want to have people just sitting around talking about these things. I want them to do something about them. And so they're going to do something about them in this world called the other realm, where the symbol is much closer to being the thing. So there's a little more you can do. There goes autosave. Thank you, autosave. What would I do without you? Probably lose stuff like I do on OpenOffice. Let's see, I think I can come in here with some black. And one of the things that I invented for the world that was an interesting concept to play with was the idea of a spell song. Let's see. This is going to come down a bit more like this, so I'm going to erase this whole chunk here. And so Becca's mother, who you meet in the first pages of issue 1, she has been studying how to create spell songs. And she has the song that she's been working on. And when she's brought to this realm, she still uses that song as a healing spell. But Becca grows up knowing it as just a lullaby. But in the other realm, it works better. More like it was intended to. And I actually wrote the lyrics. And I was pretty happy with them. And I have my friend Kristen, the friend Kristen with a C, who used to sing opera. And she's composing a song for me. So she's doing like the melody and the chords and everything for it, and it's gonna be real and exist. Joe was telling me that it's a comic, it doesn't need a song. But I need it to be a song. I mean, I would really like to add that maybe as a perk or something. Because it's going to feature in issue 3. So goodness knows Kristen's got time to work on it. Let's see, I think this line looks a little bit harsh down here, so let's blend that. Oh, gracious. My little girl has one of those birthday cards. And so when it was my birthday, like a little over a week ago, she not only made me a card, but she shared her card that she saved from her birthday with me. So you open it up and you blow on the picture of the candle and it plays happy birthday. I thought that was the cutest thing. But yeah, I don't know how I would do that. Also, you'd have to have really thick paper to accommodate the battery. I guess it works on a battery. I suppose it is electronic. Yeah, she's a funny little thing. Let's see. Um, once, once on a cereal box. I don't even remember what kind of cereal it was because we probably bought it just because this was on it. And I think McDonald's had it on a Happy Meal one time too. But it was this little floppy piece of black plastic that was a record. And there was one that was like part of the box of the Happy Meal and part of the box of cereal. Like, and I actually had a little record player. So I had one of those. It did not last long at all, but it was memorable. But I don't think I can do the little floppy plastic engraved records either. Yeah, that might be just a little bit difficult. Um, I mean, I guess now we have downloadable MP3s. There is that, or MP4, MP something. Yeah, it would help if I could remember what it stood for. Oh no, no, I've done it again. Why do I do this? Yep, just worked on the wrong layer. Yeah, I was wondering why it wasn't blending. So I'm sure I'll figure out something to use it with. I also thought maybe as the soundtrack to the Kickstarter video, but I also found some royalty-free theme music that might work as well. It depends on how fancy I can build the thing out. Because I want to make a better video than I had last time. And I wanted to do like a 2.5 minute animated short about it, but it's really tricky. And also, it's kind of difficult to find the time. Hey, Tall Texasman 2049. Going pretty good. How are you doing? I'm currently losing my place. Hang on. I am currently working on some concept art for my comic, Soulbound. Uh, my comic is about Becca, who's a pragmatic med student who's not going to let a few nightmares get in the way of solving the multitude of problems that she's already got going on. And then she gets flung through a portal to another world of magic, myth, and monsters. And this guy over here on the left is Torin, and he's been having a horrible few months too, since he has come across an evil sorceress with a mad scientist sort of bent. Ah, thank you. Oh yeah. Hey, Liam Gray. Liam Gray. Goodness, I was reading like two parts of your name at once. How are you doing tonight? Yeah, so I actually have the first issue of my comic out. Let me see. It is out now. It is available. You can go to my website, otherrealmstudio.com, and you can get issue 1, Adrift. Or you can go look it up on Amazon, and we stop that with the notifications. And you can get it for Kindle there. Oh, that's good to hear. I have sort of hung around Comicsgate. Let's see. I was on Cass Wheat's program. Oh, well, thank you so much. Yes, I do. I am Other Realm Studio on Instagram as well. I should be. So yeah, I've been posting pictures of this one in progress, so you should be able to recognize it pretty quickly. Let's see, what can I mess with next? Kind of want to work on his arms a little bit more. Oh well, I don't think I'm done with Becca's hand. I needed a little bit more contrast here with the shadow and the fingers and stuff. So yeah, so I wrote and colored Soulbound, issue 1, and we have issue 2 in progress right now. Mia Pierce, the Mia Pet, is, oops, there goes autosave again, is doing the line art for me. And she did such a fabulous job. I cannot get over how beautifully she did the first issue, and issue 2 is shaping up. Yeah, she's on Twitch. She streams occasionally. Sometimes I get to catch what she's doing, and I have to say, it is the most gratifying thing in the world to watch a good artist work on my story. Her sequential art, I'm not ashamed to say her sequential art is way stronger than mine. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, I had some different client work that I was working on, so that one may have been a concept piece. So yeah, I'm just about done with some client work, and my dad wanted a business card because he is making the most amazing tables out of spalted wood. And he's practiced a bit and gotten really good at it, so now he wants a business card. And so he asked me, hey Paula, do you know how I'd go about getting a business card? Like, how do you do that? I'm like, Pop, I can do anything these days. I mean, for one thing, this program's amazing. So he told me his idea for a business card, and I drew it exactly the way he wanted. And let me show you. Oh, hang on. Let me save this one. Hey, look. There's exactly what he wanted, and I'm really gonna have to tone it down. um, on Twitter, I am Richey underscore Paula. So it's RICHEY underscore PAULA. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I've been following the developments of the whole Comicsgate thing rather closely. And, it's not really my demographic, but I think that the comics industry kind of needed a wake up call. Now, it shall be seen whether or not they wake up or not. But yeah, there's been so much creativity and so many really different books coming out. It's been really fascinating to watch. It's like all these people were just waiting for what? I'm not quite sure. Permission? Solidarity? I don't know. Okay. You know, nobody is ever going to look this closely at this painting. except for me, and I guess that's enough. I will know that I got this fingertip perfect. Well, it can't be tonight though, 'cause it's time for me to go put uh, Miss Chaos and the clone to bed. And I have a Comic Con in the morning. Yeah, yeah. The Uncanny Valley is not a place you want to go. All right, let's zoom out real quick. Let's see. Um, I do want to. I think I got this hand all right. We're working on this one. The face is still just a little blocky, but I think I've got her proportions almost right. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. So, let's see. Gotta sign off. Gotta remember my sign off stuff. I stream on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. I take off Wednesdays and weekends. Uh, I try to stick to 8:45 to 9:30. I've run over tonight. Generally, I do, whatever projects I'm working on. This one is going to be the art for the inside cover of Soulbound 2. I'm pretty sure, if it'll fit, and I haven't, borked the formatting. But I was so pleased with how the painted style showed up on the inside cover. And the rest of the comics, line art. But the painted style, it just really did well on the inside of the cover. So I want to do that again. It's going to be pretty and a consistent thing to do across the whole series, I hope. I keep coming up with concepts. We've got an argument going on. Or a discussion, anyway. Alright, so if you'd like to check out my work, you can go to otherrealmstudio.com. I have a portfolio. This is the original inside cover art for Soulbound 1. This is some fan art I did for a character in the Heroes Unleashed universe, which I am also writing a novel set in the Heroes Unleashed universe, so I'm really excited about that. This is kind of a sample book cover I did. Oh yes, it's going to be huge in this, the Red String of Destiny. It's going to be kind of important in this series, but it's going to take a little bit longer to materialize. And if you'd like to get my comic in print, I used Alterna's printing partnership program to have this done in newsprint. So the colors on the inside are very warm and soft and classic looking. I really love the aesthetic. And also it was extremely reasonable to get these printed. Yeah, I could have gone with just putting it up on Amazon like this, or I still haven't figured out Comixology. I could have just gone, digital only, but I really, really wanted it in print. And Alternative's program really helped me out there. Yeah, if you'll notice, I've the title Soulbound here is meant to look like the ribbon that's going to feature later on, starting in I think issue 3. I think, but it's going to be a big part of the theme. Oh, and I also make tiny hatchable dragon eggs to guard your change. All right, so thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Thank you for keeping me company. And that'll be it for tonight. And I'll see you in the other realm. Good night.